But our first guest is with us already, waiting on the phone. I'd like to welcome Majella McAllister to us. Majella is from the Museum of Childhood in Ireland, and she's involved in some projects in Tipperary Town as part of Heritage Week. I always wanted to tell you about those projects. Good morning, Majella, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Catherine, and everybody at Tippmidwest Radio.
Thank you very much for joining us. So Heritage Week is upon us, the 13th to the 20th of August, and you have been doing some work to prepare some events that you're going to, two workshops that are going to take place in Tipperary on the 13th and 20th of August.
Yes, so we have an exciting lineup of events. This is a collaborative project, I should say. It's as part of Ireland's National Heritage Week from the Heritage Council. We've teamed up with Tipperary Town Revitalisation Group and Councillor Anne-Marie Shiner, and with XL Heritage and Mary Alice O'Connor. And our aim is to deliver an exciting range of sustainable heritage projects for children and young people in Tipperary Town. So, as you said, Heritage Week is from the 13th to the 20th, and we have a great lineup of items for that. But before Heritage Week even starts, we have a range of ways that young people in Tipperary, children, teenagers, everybody, families can get involved. And I'd love to tell you about those. Would that be okay?
That's perfect, yes.
So we'll take the first one. So the first one is, so this is the first thing you could get involved in. You can take a photo of a building you love in Tipperary Town and tell us why. It could be because it sells the best cakes, or it's cute, or you like the colour it's painted, or the architectural style, or because the person who lives there is a kind person or a special person to you, you know, like family history. Perhaps you've got family history connection with the building. So that's the very first thing. And then all of the entries can come into info@museumofchildhood.ie. The second competition is to take any building in Tipperary Town and through art to reimagine it. So you could turn a school into a chocolate factory, or a supermarket into a pamper your pet palace, or a shop into a house, a cafe into a music venture. And you can do that any way you like. You can draw it, or you can paint it, or you could Lego it, or you could craft it. Your imaginative reuse of a building idea is what that second competition is about. Again, info@museumofchildhood.ie. And the third one is, when you hear the word sustainability, what springs to mind? What do you understand by the word? And then we just ask you to write a short paragraph or make a poem about your understanding of that word sustainability. I should say that the reason that we're focusing on all of this as well is that Heritage Week, the hashtag for Heritage Week this year is #sustainability. And then the fourth competition is, do you have a sustainability idea? And the idea is to make a short video. That could be the family or a group, perhaps, of young people getting together to tell us about it or to show us your idea. And again, all entries to info@museumofchildhood.ie. So sort of they're things that you can do now before Heritage Week even happens. And we have lovely I suppose prizes for entrance from that. We have toys, Joe Whelan's in the town, Prime 74, the Ballycastine Hotel, the French Quarter Cafe and XL. They've all given us prizes. Eason's have given us prizes. So we have some really, really nice prizes for participants in those competitions. And then during Heritage Week, so the first day of programmes is on the 13th in Tipperary. But during the week, so from the evening of that day, early Sunday of the 14th, all of the children's work will be on display in the town. We have 3 venues right in the middle of the town, 3 shops, and we'll be using the windows there to put on displays of the children's work.
Terrific.
They'll be able to go and see their work, and everybody will be able to go and see their ideas and get excited about what children are up to.
So for those 4 competitions, Majella, for the 4 competitions, are you taking entries up until August 7th?
Yes, so we'll actually take them up until the 7th. Yes, okay. Absolutely. I mean, if they can get them in by the 6th, we'd be really, really happy. Okay. But we will take them up until the 7th. But you're right, on the 7th we'll be it might be a little bit busy for us. So to be really sure to get them in.
So again, and then I think the details have been shared on the Revitalisation social media pages in town. It can be a photograph of a building you love. It could be an idea to reimagine a building, because youngsters might have thinking, I'd love if that building could be this, and this is an opportunity to kind of put forward that idea, as you say, in a painting or in a drawing or in a craft model.
And it could be a building that's completely in use. I mean, it doesn't have to be a building that's empty or anything like that. It could be a building that's in use at the moment. The idea is just to get thinking about ways that we can take existing buildings and reuse them.
And then they also could also write a piece about what the word sustainability means, or they can make a video about that. And anything they want to submit to you at the email address info@museumofchildhood.ie, and to keep the work then, which can be put on display, as you say, in those window displays during Heritage Week.
And in fact, if they're in the town in Tipperary, we have a box in Excel at the reception in the Excel Heritage Centre. So if they'd like to drop their work in just with their name and the age on it, so that we know exactly who owns what work, they're very welcome to do that in advance of Heritage Week as well.
And then in Heritage Week, there are 2 workshops on the Saturday the 13th and the 20th that people might just like to try to maybe consider what's on and see if they would like to attend.
And see if they would like to. And I should say as well that this entire project for Tipperary grew out of the Tipp Collaborative Town Centre Health Check project. You've probably seen that of the CTCHC project. And that is a programme from Alison Harvey at the Heritage Council. And they committed to including voices of children and youth at the very core of that Collaborative Town Centre Health Check. So, and as our motto at the museum is children should be seen, all children should be seen and heard. We're absolutely delighted to be
terrific. And another day, Madeleine, we might talk to you about the museum itself. Unfortunately, today I'm a little bit stuck for time now, but the workshops that you have then coming up, I know you might come on and speak to us again closer to the date, and we'll be previewing Heritage Week. But on the 13th, you have a number of speakers in the morning in this area of building reuse, which a lot of people are interested in. And then you have some activities in terms of workshops and artist-led junk art workshops for Tipperary Town. And then on August the 20th, ideas also around fashion and asking students to make products. And then you're going to have a storytelling event, and you're going to then have the screening of the students' mini-films about sustainability, and all of this tying in with the film that's being made about Tipperary Town, about the glove industry, as you mentioned there, Mary Alice O'Connor. That's going to take place on August 18th in the Excel Centre as well. So, listeners, there's a lot of things happening across that week in August in Tipperary Town.
So very exciting. It's very exciting, and actually on the 18th as well, we have Wild Child Day. It's the Heritage Council's Wild Child Day. So we have tree planting going on that day. So we've apple tree planting in the town, which is really exciting. But yeah, the glove factory is remembered on August 18th too. That should be absolutely wonderful. From the
yes, it's kind of a documentary aspect to it, but also then they have recreated, made a stage and built a set and had a recreation of the factory working. So this is very much an idea of sustainability of reuse, whether it's buildings or materials, because we're seeing all this issue that we cannot keep consuming. We have this overuse day, by which time we've consumed way too many resources in 1 year, more than we've produced, and that day keeps coming further forward earlier in the year. So this idea of sustainability is very important, and great to get young people involved.
It's wonderful, and really we have that call out. We really want young people to show up in force. This is not an exercise in sort of ticking a box around children and young people. This is a real call to young people to get actively involved and to have their say on Tipperary, to make their presence known, to make their voices heard. So really, get involved in those pre-events for Heritage Week, but also come on the 13th. If they come at 10 a.m., so from 10 a.m. on the 13th, there'll be lots for them to do, lots to get involved in, and lots of ways for them to get their voices heard and what they want for their town. And again, the same on the 20th.
And those events will be held in the Excel Centre itself?
In the Excel Centre, yes. Yes.
Very good.
Yes, everything will take place there.
Michelle, the Museum of Childhood itself, it doesn't have a physical base yet, but you've been gathering collections of materials and resources, and you would hope to eventually have a permanent physical base?
Yes, that is absolutely our hope. We have a huge collection, over 40,000 objects of material childhood culture, not for the sake of the objects themselves. It's for the stories and the attachments to them of childhood. It's telling stories through the objects.
And you make the point, I was looking at your website, you make that point from the proclamation that all children are to be cherished equally, and that's what you want to try to ask everybody to get involved and consider that their voice is perfectly legitimate to be expressed and should be heard as well.
Yeah, and that, history is not something that happened yesterday or happened 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago. History is being made right now. Mm-hmm. So, what we do now is tomorrow's history. Yes. And I think that's, that's the point of all of this. So it's historic, contemporary.
Very good. So, Michelle, if people want to find out further details, I think it's best to look at social media pages here in Tipperary Town. The XL have shared it, and the Tipperary Revitalisation Task Force have shared it. I think Councillor Amy Ryan has shared it as well, so people can find out details. We will be doing a preview, but all of the Heritage Week events listeners across the county, and there's some fabulous ones developing and being registered on the Heritage Council's website. That's heritageweek.ie to look at all the options. But the 2 workshops in Tipperary will take place on Saturday the 13th. There are 10 to 5 events, and again on Saturday the 20th in the XL Centre with some very interesting speakers and activities planned. Michelle, thanks for joining us. I think we'll have you on again, I think, before Heritage Week. So
thank you.
We'll be able to perhaps go into a little bit more detail about the events.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Thanks very much to everybody there. And we're looking forward to seeing you all on the 13th and the 20th, and to receiving your entries before the
August 7th.
Before those dates. Yeah, sorry. In fact, I'm actually just thinking, because we're on the 13th, I think we'll extend that date to the 10th. So
okay, that'd be great.
We'll accept entries up until the 10th. That gives people a little bit more time. We look forward to that, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Perfect.
And to check out the Museum of Childhood Ireland at museumofchildhood.ie. And huge thanks to the Heritage Council, to Tipperary Revitalisation, and to the XL Heritage Group.
Michelle, we're looking forward to seeing you here again. Thank you.
Goodbye, Catherine.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Slán live.
And that was Michelle McAllister from the Museum of Childhood. I did bump into her. She was in Tipperary a couple of weeks ago and met her with some of our colleagues here. They were doing some work, and they were looking for those entries for the competitions and then inviting people to participate in the workshops on the 13th and on the 20th.